Hello, everybody. This is painting 3, the 16 by 20-ish oil painting project. So obviously, this one is going a little bit larger, than your last project. If you remember, on painting 1, we did these mini paintings that you kind of explored, um, like a still life. You explored like a fruit, a self portrait. Then you could kind of choose, something original or something you just copied. Painting 2, remember, is more stretching, where you might have a panoramic, view, where it'd be kind of a long, thin painting, or a very tall one, that was narrow, and trying to explore those, those kinds of dimensions. This one is kind of a 16 by 20. It can be a little different, but you can buy a frame, like at Walmart or whatever, that's 16 by 20. That's why it's a nice size to play around with if you didn't want to actually, build your own. You do have the choice, as a Painting 3 student, to use canvas, or do it on wood. Whatever one that you kind of want to work with, it's completely up to you at that point. We do have those stretcher bars, that as a Painting 3 student, you can use, and obviously that would be more for that'd be more for the canvas aspect of it. In the painting, in the wood part of it, you could definitely make a wood frame. Otherwise, again, if you stay with that size, you can just use one of our frames, just take the glass out of it, and then you'd be fine. In terms of the assignment itself, it's just a continuation of that, working larger, about 16 by 20. Subject matter is always up to you. You can work off of your own photography. That's always ideal, because then it's original. But if you are not ready for that step, or you don't ever want to go down that road, kind of thing, which is perfectly fine. It's wherever you want to take your own art. Then yeah, you can just jump online and submit some ideas, that you really kind of like to explore, or work with your photography, or come up with a sketch and try to play around with it. Again, kind of wherever you're at. The demonstration this time is of a lady who is kind of talking about oil paintings, and she's kind of doing a painting a little bit at the same time. So about 10 minutes. But it's really good because she goes over that you still want to treat our oils like traditional oils. Because again, ours are water soluble, which means that you can clean them up with water. And that's still a relatively new product. So it's something to kind of consider. When you work with oils, or when you have a conversation with somebody outside of this classroom, because they're going to think, that you're still using turpentine and you're still using linseed oil, and it's still really smelly and all this other stuff. And ours aren't like that. And that's what I like about them, is because you can clean them up. However, you can't use water as frequently as you might have when you were a year 1, or maybe even a year 2. Because it can kind of affect, as she kind of explains, the longevity of the paint. So you want to use our mediums, that we have, as a way to thin them out if they're too thick, or to help speed up that drying time by like a day or 2, kind of thing, or extend the drying time. So definitely, check in with me a little bit more about that. I'll try to have a video here that can even kind of explain that, as to the year 2 and year 3 students, about the kind of mediums that we're acquiring in the class. What a big takeaway on this is, just try not to use water to thin your paints out. Use water to clean it up. Okay. Use our mediums to thin it out and to extend your drying time and all that good stuff. And at the end, they talk about varnishing. And again, we have a spray varnish, but we're not going to let it sit for 6 months to dry. I think that's a little excessive. We'll just use our spray varnish, or we might have a Darmar varnish. She had a spray can of Darmar, which I've never seen before. We might even get that, just so it can still kind of breathe. I like the idea of that, and still dry, versus trapping all that in. So we'll kind of look into that. Otherwise, same old directions. Watch the video. Submit 3 ideas. Whether they're original or they're copies. And again, decide if you want to do it on canvas or wood. That's completely up to you. Paint it, frame, unless you're doing a wraparound painting or something else. So many options with that. Our Sonia turned in. grading wise, it's pretty generic. And everything else. So other than that, I guess good luck on the project, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.